When we think of endangered animals, we think of isolated wilderness, but it's not always like that. Sometimes they lurk right under our noses in the least expected places.
Did you know there's one of the most endangered predators in Britain over in those dunes?
Seriously? My God.
Have you heard any strange calls from there at night time?
It sounded a bit like you know when you hear like crickets, but a bit louder.
20,000 families visit this North Wales holiday park every year, living cheek by jowl with our rarest amphibian, the Natterjack toad. Beverly Callahan works at the camp, but she's no redcoat. She's a ranger, and her job is to protect the dunes, as they're one of a handful of places in the UK where the toad is making a comeback.
Just how rare are these toads?
They actually went extinct throughout the whole of Wales, and it was only through the work of the caravan park, the gas company and other organisations that came together and helped restore the sand dunes to bring the Natterjack toads back.
Natterjacks spend a lot of time on land, and undisturbed, loose, sandy soil is perfect for burrows and shallow breeding ponds. North Wales replaced most of its dunes with sea defences, so the collaboration to restore this remaining strip, with the added help of some of the holidaymakers, has saved a valuable wildlife haven. Their tadpoles grow really quickly, taking advantage of temporary pools other toads and frogs can't use. Jean Evans of Flintshire Countryside Services is going to introduce me to some of this year's tiny toadlets.
Jean, this looks like toad heaven.
Yeah, it's a pretty good habitat for the toads, nice shallow ponds. Bit overgrown really for the Natterjacks because they tend to walk rather than jump, but we've seen a lot in the last few weeks. They do tend to move around a lot, so just keep looking for something that's moving.
Okay.
Oh, I think I found one.
I've got one here.
There we go.
Ah, so they've got that yellow stripe even at this age.
They do. As they start to develop the legs, they also start to develop the yellow stripe.
What was it that caused the Natterjack toad to die out in the first place?
Well, the site was used during the Second World War for evacuees from Liverpool, and many of them actually lived on the site until about the 1980s.
The transformation from dune to shantytown was too much for the toads. Gradually they died out, as many have across the UK. But in 1997, a reintroduction began with tadpoles rescued from drying up pools. They first started breeding in 2000 and laid 11 strings of spawn here. Last year, they laid over 170, so they're doing fantastically well. I want to see and hear some adults, but for that, I'll have to wait until after dark.
It's not long after dusk, and despite the fact that we've come stampeding through here with our lights and cameras, already the air's thick with the sounds of male toads bustling to try and find a female. And as you can hear, it's pretty spectacular. Oh, crumbs, look, there's two mating right over behind us at the moment.
Oh,
In fact, there's three there, yeah. Fantastic, another one scarpered. Are they like common toads in that once they get into the kind of the heat of the moment, the males will grab pretty much anything and they'll try and mate with fish and all sorts of things?
yeah. They'll often go for anything. It's not uncommon to see two males together either.
Oh, we're all for equal rights. Why not? Toads are supposed to be the epitome of slimy, warty ugliness. But Natterjack toads with that go faster stripe and the Fabergé jewelled eye and that glorious baritone voice, they're really rather beautiful. There's so many different groups here have collaborated to bring the Natterjack back. It's a genuine wildlife success story.